Cycle 3, day 6, we have max effort, upper body. Our primary lift today is gonna be a bench press. What we're gonna do is reverse banded bench press. So what that means, tie bands to the top of the power rack, and then we'll bench against those. So what that does, at the bottom of the lift, I'll have the most band tension or the most assistance. At the top of the lift, the band should be pretty much off the bar. This does a few things. Usually I'll use these as a max effort lift, not so much in like accessories, but for ETR, we're not going to a true max effort on max effort days. So in conjugate hybrid training and CHT, on a max effort upper body day, we're actually going to a true max effort single, double, triple, whatever it's gonna be. We'll use these as a variation of that bench press max effort lift. Now, it also has its benefits when we're working at lower percentages as well. Like in ETR right now, we're working at about an RPE of 7. So for me, that percentage range is about 70 to 80%. And the reason that can be beneficial is this. The weakest point in the lift is at the bottom, right? On a bench press, weakest point is when the bar's on my chest. So if I throw bands on the bar, when the bar is at my chest, when they're reverse banded, I now have assistance so that my weakest point now has lower weight. But then as I press the bar gets heavier and heavier. That way I'm not limited by how much weight I can put off of my chest, and I can still train the entire range of motion in the bench press and become stronger. It makes you more confident with heavy weight, but also still forces you to lock out with heavier weight. We can press the limits of our max so that maybe at the bottom of the bench, I'm now at my true max effort weight, but then as I go up, I'm adding more weight and actually getting max effort through the full range of motion. Like my max effort lockout, max mid-range, that whole movement is now max effort. It's gonna make us stronger and provide a different stimulus. So for this program, for ETR, what I want you to do at the bottom of a bench press, I want that to be your RPE of 7. So for example, let's say for me today, it's at 75% of my bench press. At the very bottom of the bench, I want 75% on the bar with that band assistance. Like if there's 20 pounds of band tension, there better be 20 more pounds of weight on the bar. That way it's 275 pounds at the bottom, 295 at the top, if that makes sense. So for today, I've got 295 on the bar, and then I've got about 30 pounds of band tension. So at the bottom, 265, at the top, 295. So this way, we're able to train heavier throughout the range of motion while still giving ourselves the ability to recover and stay in the parameters of what ETR is as an onboarding program. We constantly rotate the lifts that we do on max effort days. So like on bench press, we're doing a different variation almost every single cycle. And the reason for that is the law of accommodation. And what that states is that the body stops adapting to a training stimulus once it becomes accustomed to it. So if you do the same thing over and over and over, can't expect different results. Over time, your technique is gonna improve, your nervous system is gonna become more efficient, and your muscles are gonna adapt to whatever stimulus you presented. Meaning that you're gonna stop adapting to whatever workout that is. That doesn't mean the movement is now easy. It can still be hard, but your body doesn't have the same stimulus it had before because it's now efficient and it's now comfortable with that movement. So you have to change up the stimulus. It's a concept that carries over to life perfectly, right? That's why they say comfort zones are danger zones, because you become accustomed to the stimulus. There's no longer the same stimulus provided, so you're not gonna grow. And that's why we constantly change up our lifting variations in this program. We're not gonna do the same bench press every single week. We're gonna do a reverse banded bench press. We're gonna change up different grips. We're gonna change up different heights on an incline bench and change up everything in order to prevent the law of accommodation. Now at the same time, that accommodation is a good thing, right? Our body building up to that stimulus and getting more efficient, and our muscles adapting and our nervous system firing, those things are good. So you wanna be careful and not change it up so much that your body never has a chance to adapt, but you have to be mindful about how we do that. And that's why it comes down to proper programming and good coaching and not just throwing stuff against the wall, hoping something sticks. After that bench press, we're gonna go into 5x6 on a strict overhead press. You have to be able to coach yourself, like I've told you before. This program is an onboarding program, an on-ramp, so we're not trying to push weight. And in this early phase of the program, our RPE is set very low for a reason. However, be able to judge yourself, and if you wanna go a little heavier, if you feel like you can do it, then go for it. You just gotta be smart about it, okay? Patience is key. Not trying to rush anything is key. However, if 55% is just too light for you and you wanna go a little heavier, then go a little heavier. The stimulus is supposed to be trying to build the skill and the work capacity, doing 30 reps at light weight. But if you already have that built and that this is an area you're strong in, then add a little bit of weight. You're not locked in a box to this program, right? It's a generalized program for a lot of different people. If you want to add a little bit of weight, then be smart about it. Just don't go crazy with it. You know, so for me, I'm gonna go at 65% today. It just feels good, I like it. You shouldn't be grinding any reps. It should be quick, explosive. You'll feel a little bit of a pump. You should be tired, but it shouldn't be a grind. If it's a grind, then lower the weight a little bit. We're gonna slowly add weight on this over time throughout the entire program to build up to a strong, strict press. So focus on your technique, tight core, no leaning back. Make it perfect at lightweight, so when we get to the heavyweight down the road, your form isn't the limiting factor. All right, next up we have a superset. We're gonna do bottoms up, kettlebell press. I'm gonna do it on an incline bench. We're gonna do a single arm, and then we're gonna superset that with a meadow row. So for the kettlebell bottom up press, if you don't have kettlebells, not an excuse. I'm gonna say this over and over and over. You guys are gonna hate me for it. No excuses, man. Find a way to get it done. There's always a way. If you want it bad enough, you find a way. If you don't want it bad enough, find an excuse. So the way I found a way, I bought this bad boy. It's called Kettle Grip. I think it was like, I don't know how much it was. I think these are a little expensive, but not crazy, like way cheaper than a kettlebell. They're rated, I think, max like 55 pounds. I've used this with 125 pounds, had zero problem, so it's legit. And this is what I use. The purpose of a kettlebell bottom up press is the stability aspect. I can't let the weight fall to either side. And this thing actually makes it 10 times worse because kettlebell weight is further away from my hand, it's higher up, which obviously makes it harder. With a regular kettlebell, the weight kind of sits a little lower sometimes with these lighter weights, and it's a little easier. So with this movement, you have to maintain a really strong grip because it can't slide, and the stability aspect in your shoulder has to be on point. It has to be solid, and it has to be perfect form, or else you're gonna fall out of line. So we're gonna use a neutral grip when we press. Just turn it this way, and we're gonna press straight up. This is gonna target our chest, as well as our shoulders and all the stability muscles around our shoulder. It'll work wonders, go light, increase the weight over time. And then superset that with the metal row. When we get to that, I'll show you guys how to do it. You gotta leave the ego at the door and only do what you're capable of doing. It's like common sense when you say it out loud, but that's what gets you hurt. With these, the risk is falling side to side and you're not controlling that weight, the potential for injury. So make sure it's perfect reps. I say it all the time, just do it the right way. All right, then we're gonna roll into meadow row. So with meadow row, just getting a split stance. I like to put my heel about where this bar is. And I'm gonna lean over with this offside. I'm gonna use that for support, just driving my elbow into my leg. You're then gonna grab onto the end of this barbell, which is attached to a landmine attachment. So the purpose of this lift is to target our rhomboids and our lower lats. We're gonna use a pronated grip, so overhand grip on the end of this barbell. At the bottom, we're gonna have a full stretch in our back, and then we're gonna row, pulling our elbow high. So driving that elbow up is gonna be the stimulus, keeping our back flat, not moving our torso and not rotating with the weight. Set up in proper position, grab the end of this barbell, nice and solid base, full stretch to the bottom. Drive with your elbow. Full stretch to the bottom, drive with the elbow. Superset that with a rotational bench at the bottom here, supine, rotate it into pronated grip. So palms forward, palms towards you. And just do 8 reps of this. Nice, slow and controlled, making sure we're still loading the chest. Our last superset for the day is gonna be an arm workout. We're gonna do 4x8 on hammer curls. Superset with overhead tricep extensions. All right, last thing for today is gonna be our finisher piece. We're gonna do 4 rounds total, high rep, so lightweight. We're gonna start with a push-up, banded, so grab a light band, wrap it around your back. 15 reps on push-up. Then we're gonna go into a banded fly or reverse fly. Attach a band to something solid like a rack. Thumb up, we're just gonna do single arm flies. We're gonna go into dumbbell rollback extensions on a bench and then into reverse V-up. So if you have a rower, put your feet up on the seat and then just do a V-up the opposite way. So typically you're lying on your back, this one you're face down. If you don't have a rower, then grab a yoga ball. Same thing, put your feet on the yoga ball and do a reverse V-up that way. So wrap on day 6, cycle 3. Romans 5:3-4 says, "We glory also in tribulation, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope." Mistakes are made when we rush, but patience isn't just sitting around doing nothing. It's working without an immediate result. Strength, skill, endurance, discipline, character, these things grow below the surface before they ever are shown outwardly. You have to trust the process. You have to stick to the plan to get to that end result. The reality is this: yes, you can cheat it. You can take a shortcut. You can use drugs, you can do all kinds of different things to get to what you think is the end result, but it's really that vanity result, the physical, and you bypass everything you would have gained through patience, through discipline, through building character, steady beast rush every single day. Most people quit because they don't see the progress right away. Stick to the plan, trust the process, it will pay off. That wraps up cycle 3, day 6. We'll see you tomorrow for day 7.